Hello anyone, everyone, and no one. Welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock Edition tutorial. In today's tutorial, we're going to go over this monstrosity right here behind me. Yes, this monstrosity of a Kelp XV, wow, that's a good word right there. A Kelp XP and bone meal farm. Now, I recently built this here on Truly Bedrock, and as you can see here, this one is actually pretty large. Now, I'm planning on scaling this thing up quite a bit more. There's going to be at least 1, 2, 3, 4 chunks of this thing here, and it is going to be pretty massive. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there who are going to look at this thing and go like, Slack, that's just a kelp farm. I get it. You know, a lot of people already know how to build a kelp farm, but not everybody has been playing the game as long as everybody else. There's still a lot of people who don't know how to build this. So we're going to do a little quick tutorial on this today. We're going to show you how you can make one of these and possibly turn this into a little bit of an XP farm, and you can get some fuel out of it, and when the system overflows, you get free bone meal out of it. So let's jump into a creative world and get started, shall we? And alrighty, here we are in a little bit of a creative testing world here, and yeah, this is one of my craziness that I like to use from time to time. And what you're going to need for this thing right here, as you can see, I've got a couple small ones in here that I've played around with, different designs, and it's really simple. As you can see, you grow the kelp gets broke, it comes over, it goes down into this smoker right here, and yeah, it just produces tons upon tons of kelp. Now kelp, you can take this, you can munch down on this, you can turn this into a fuel source. I mean, you can even craft it up into blocks so that you could carry a whole inventory of this stuff and then craft it down for food. But that's not the main reason we're after it. We're not after it for the food. Even though this stuff is really tasty, we are out to get the fuel. We are out to get the bone meal, and you just break for a minute, please. Thank you very much. We are also out to get that right there, that beautiful sound right there that you probably didn't hear because of my sound or the way I edit my videos. We're out to get the experience. So what you are going to need for this is some blocks of choice. I like to use iron because it reminds me of the days when iron farms worked, and I cry like a baby over it, but that's neither here nor there. You're going to need pistons, observers, redstone, some glass, kelp. You're going to need some fuel, 2 buckets of water for an infinite water source, and then this is stuff we're going to need at the end. Let's see, you got a hopper, smoker or a furnace, you got a composter, you got some chests, and a lever. Yeah, I forgot the lever. Yep, I forgot it there too. Yep. Okay, so let's get this, and let's get to building this, shall we? Now, I am very particular on how I like to build things. Call me finicky, I like to chunk align things. Now, if we take a look here on the ground, you see these nice little red and blue lines. That is from a plugin that is a chunk visualizer. Now, a link to this thing will be down in the video description, but, you know, some people just can't use this because they're on a realm, they have a forced texture pack, somebody doesn't want them to use it. So if you need to know how to find chunks, I've got a tutorial on my channel. I'll link that up there in the corner right now, so you can feel free to check that out as well. But let's get started, shall we? Now, seeing as I like to chunk align farms, as I just said, we're going to start things off here, right at 1 block back from the edge of this chunk right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to not do that, we're going to actually put down a row of blocks. And then on top of that row of blocks, we're going to put a row of pistons. Coming back here behind on the back side here, we're going to put some blocks right behind those pistons there. We're going to switch over to our observers, and we're going to place observers on every one of those just like that. And then we'll go ahead and grab our redstone dust and simply run down every one of those. Now, the reason that I like to do it this way, some people, Slack, you can do it. There's 100 ways you can do it. I know. I understand this. I tend to go with what works for me, you know? This is what works for me. This is what I have the least problems with, so this is what I tend to go with. So when we actually fill this area in with water, we're able to plant our kelp right here. When it grows up, it's going to trigger this observer, piston, and it's going to fire all these down this row and break all that kelp. So from here, I mean, this farm, it's like I didn't give you an exact number, because this is scalable. You can build this as big as you want. So literally from here, as kelp can grow on top of anything, more or less, top of this observer is where our next row of kelp is going to go. So simply, we just come up a block, we place down another row here, and if you want to guess where we're going here, another row of pistons right here. We're going to go ahead and swing around here to the back, grab our solid blocks, put those in there, switch over to our observers, and simply take this all the way down. I mean, that's all there is to it. And then connect it all up with redstone. And then one more time, just as one more example, if you want to take this up another level, simply the kelp is going to grow right there on the observer. And we're going to go ahead and run down blocks all the way down this side right here. Go ahead and grab our pistons all the way across here. Come around here to the back. Grab in our solid blocks right on the back of the pistons. Switch back over to our observers. Oops, and apparently not place them all. And simply run all the way down. That's it. That's as simple as this farm gets. It's really not that hard. The hardest part that you're about to have is the part that is going to be coming up here in just a minute. And once you get this thing to the desired height of what you want, I went ahead and capped off my end right here. Now, as I said, this is very scalable. You could make this as big as you want. For tutorial purposes, we are going to make it this size right here with just 4 rows up. Now, you could take this thing up as tall as you want. I mean, that is all up to you. So next on the list, after we've got all that in, it's simply come out and we're going to simply just glass every bit of this in right here. So, you know, just and literally take this up all the way around. And of course, when you get to that layer done, just simply walk it back. I mean, that's all we're doing. We're just glassing this whole thing up. So yeah, I mean, it's just grindy. It's just, that's all there is to it. It's just a little bit grindy here. But yeah, let's get all this glassed up, shall we? Once you've got all this glassed up to this layer here, go ahead and take this up one more additional layer for now, all the way across the front, all the way across the sides, and if I can quickly get around here to the back side, we will take this one additional block back right here. Alright, that is just to provide so that when we actually get to our water point, we have somewhere that we can actually dump in our water. Now, that was not the proper example, but we'll cover that in just a second. Okay, so from here, you've got all your observers into place, you got all your pistons in place. Now you're ready to start filling this thing up with water. And this part is actually really simple. You just fill all that in, simply come up one layer, fill all that in. Now obviously you'll be doing this with a water source, so you would simply take like something like that, place you another one here. This one becomes infinite. You would just grab it back and forth and just keep walking this thing all the way over. Now, the part that gets a little bit tricky, that took me a little bit to figure out, that, yeah, I'm just going to show you now. Start at the corner here. Go at the corner and then just simply walk all the way down this side. And when you get over here, fill in that and boom, it just automatically fills in that whole area. And once again, come all the way to the corner, run all the way down the front, and then simply boom, it just fills itself in. It's really nice, and you don't have issues while dealing with the observers. Now, of course, in survival, you're going to be grabbing from here, placing, grab, place, grab, place. I think you get the point of what I'm trying to say there. But simply, to make your life really easy, that is all you got to do. It's just fill them in just like that right there. So, start at the corner, walk it around till you get that going, and then just simply every other one all the way down until you get this thing filled all the way up. Alright, so once you get all this finished all the way up to this point, you're on your top level of your farm. Simply fill all this in, and there it goes. That's all filled in. Now, the next thing on the list is to plant our kelp. That's where we're at now at this stage. So we would simply grab our kelp, come down here, and just literally plant it all the way across here. And then simply come up here on top of the observers, plant it all the way across there, and simply continue this process up all the way till you get all your rows done. Now, obviously, I need to point this one out here. This row up here, your top row, you're not going to be planting kelp on because you don't have no pistons behind it. And it would mess up our water supply that we're eventually going to put in there. So now at this point, this thing is actually operational, as you've seen there. That one already growed. So simply, as soon as the kelp grows up, it activates all those pistons, and it knocks all the kelp out. Really simple. Really simple. Alright, so now you've got your kelp farm up and running. You've got the area all glassed in. You're ready to start working on a collection system. Now, how you do your collection system here is going to be dependent on how big you made your farm. I can't exactly tell you every detail on how to do it because you got to consider a couple things. This being one of them, how far water flows out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this farm right here, from where our water is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we go 7 and 8, yeah, you can see it's gonna make things a little bit interesting. And as a matter of fact, let's go over here for a demonstration. This farm here, how far does it flow out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so it's all going to vary on how you do your farm here. I can just show you what I do and what works for me. So knowing that this is not full scale, that the water is going to become a sort of a trivial issue, what are we going to do in this situation? Well, as I said, we're going to count this out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Our water could go all the way out to there, but we're not going to actually do that. So what are we going to do? We're going to simply drop this down by 3. We're going to come out here and we're going to fill all this area in right here by 3. So yeah. So now that we've got a channel all the way across this thing, we can simply come down here. We're going to add in some blocks and we're going to count across. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And what we're going to actually do is I can go ahead and do this for demonstrational purposes. We're going to dump in some water there. So we want that water to come over here, but not go there. So we're going to fill in this area here because I'm making a complete mess at the moment. And we want to try to walk all the water into one centralized collection area. So we simply got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now our water stops there. Now you're like, Slack, how is this useful? What am I going to do with this information? Well, now anything that ends up in this channel, we don't have to hopper line it out. It's all going to get pushed over this way. So how are we going to get what's in there over here? Well, I'm glad you asked. So let me show you, shall I? And what we are going to need to do this is some slabs and some signs. I know, something I forgot off the list. I know, I'm sorry. So how are signs and slabs going to help us get everything over there? Really simple. We're going to come here in front of this observer. We're going to place down a slab, slab, slab. Slab, 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 slab. I think you see where we're going with this. So literally we're going to slab all of this in here. Why? Because it keeps the water source blocks, and it's going to give us somewhere to put water in a minute that's not going to affect this. I know it may sound a little confusing at first, but just hang with me and we'll try to get it sorted out. Alright, so at this point, we have got all of our slabs in place. So we can go ahead and remove this layer of glass that we put in here. Come on, get out of here. Get on out of here. And we are going to go ahead and place in some signs right here. All the way across the front here, we're going to put signs all the way across this. This is going to stop our water in just a minute. And I can already hear you asking the question of what water? This water right here that you're going to go back here and place on top of all these observers. And just like that, we now have water going all the way over here. The items are going to drop off right here. So at this point, we can simply, well, I'd say simply, but you can't really see at the moment. So let me down here. Oh my goodness. This is why I like playing with transparent water. Simply come back in here and remove all of these slabs we just placed in. And after you get all the slabs in place, I'm just planting some kelp here real quick, just as demonstrational purposes. As the kelp grows up, it gets broke, it gets picked up by the water streams, carried across, dropped into the other one, and then it's all going to end up right down there. So we're actually ready to start getting in our system to cook all this down. So just to make things really, really simple here and really clean, I am going to go ahead and drop a tube right down here. Don't need that piece there. And get our kelp into a centralized area for collection. Alright, now at this point you have kelp pouring in, but you have it going nowhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in a couple blocks here. We're going to switch over to some hoppers right here. Let's go ahead and remove that block, and we're going to put hopper, hopper, hopper. Now this is going to start giving us a collection system, so we're not actually wasting and losing our kelp at the moment. So from here it comes down to smoker or furnace. Both of these will cook down kelp. Now this is going to help determine what you want to use. The smoker cooks down items really, really fast, so you're going to get less bone meal out of it per se, while the furnace cooks it down slower, so you're going to get more bone meal out of it. So let's actually start this off using a furnace right here. So we're going to set down a furnace right there, and we're going to put a hopper going into that right there. And what is going to happen is the kelp is going to come in here, go straight down that hopper, and end up in this furnace. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of fuel in there. So as this furnace builds up, because it's going to cook slower than this smoker, you're eventually going to fill this chamber up here with kelp. And then what's going to happen is eventually this is all going to fill up with kelp. And you're going to start to run into a problem. You're eventually going to reach a point where you get more kelp than the furnaces or even the new smokers can keep up with if you go very big with this farm. So you need an overflow system. You need a relief system to help alleviate the pain so that you do not end up there with 100,000 blocks in a little circle and crashing servers. So this is where the composter comes in, and this is really, really simple. You know, if we just grab a couple temporary blocks right here at the very end of our chain, we're going to throw in a composter, and we are going to throw in an additional hopper. So now, if this system fills up, which it's slowly not starting to do, but there was a backlog of items, once this fills all the way up, let's grab some kelp here to demonstrate that. So eventually your furnace is going to build up, your hopper line here is going to build up. I said fill up, please. Any new kelp that comes in, come on, can we get some new kelp coming in here anytime, please, today? Oh, there's some coming right there. It's going to drop on down here. It has nowhere to go. So where's it going to go? It's going to go over here into the composter. Now, to actually collect the bone meal from this thing, it is really, really simple. It is so simple that it is not even funny. We're just going to set down the chest here. Not the chest that I have MBT data on. Let's set down this chest right here. Okay, that was a good chest. Let's grab a hopper and throw that into there. So now, as this system overflows, it's completely backlogged. This little furnace can't keep up with it. Any extra kelp that is produced is going to go in here and just become bone meal. I mean, it's that simple. You get free kelp, you get free XP, and you get bone meal out of it. I mean, you really can't go wrong in this farm. It's just great. It's just great. And if you want to set up a little bit of a collection system here, so let's go ahead and put down a chest right here. Let's go ahead and grab our hoppers. Excuse me there. Put that there. All the kelp will pour out here. And it's just amazing. And you can scale this however you want. So say you want to add in another chest array here. You want to go ahead and add in another hopper here. You want to go ahead and add in another furnace. It's just like that. And you want to add in another one. Well, it's really simple. Add in another one here. Add in another hopper right there. Go ahead and grab you another furnace. Put that in. And so on and so forth. As you can see, we've already got kelp going there. Because once this one backs up, it will start going into the next one. And once this one backs up, it'll start going into the next one. And eventually all these are going to be running full stop all the time. And any extra is going to end up here as free bone meal. I mean, really. Now, and to keep this system going even longer, all you got to do is come back here. Add in some hoppers back here. Let's grab us some chests. Can I have this chest, please, right here? So we're going to throw in a chest there. We're going to throw in a chest there, and we're going to turn this one just a little bit sideways here so none of these connect. So at this point, all we have to do is just simply come in here. We can throw in our fuel here. Now obviously you'll start with trees, coal, or something like that. But eventually as this system runs, you're going to end up with kelp as your fuel. I mean, because what else are you going to use it for? You're going to be producing tons of kelp. You're not going to be eating that much kelp. So you can put the fuel back into it to generate you free XP and free bone meal. You know what? I'm going to sit here and let this little thing run for just a little bit. But in the meantime, I do need to do one other thing here. I need to grab a lever. So we're going to grab a lever right here. And what is the lever for? The lever is going to be here for when we actually want to collect our XP. So you know what? I'm going to turn on Cheat Engine. I am going to speed this game up for just a little bit. So give me a minute and we'll be right back. Alright, now we have Cheat Engine on at the moment. As you can see, items are really pouring in, and just to try to give you a little bit of a demonstration here, if I move really, really fast, because I've got the game running at 10x speed right now. So to give you a little bit of an example, the size of the farm is going to be dependent, or the number of furnaces are going to be dependent on the size of the farm you built. So let's take a look here and see what's going on. As you can see, this furnace is completely backed up. This hopper is staying pretty well backed up. If we go in here, this furnace is staying backed up, and this is slowly starting to back up. Now this thing looks like it is definitely supporting 2 furnace arrays. Don't know if it's going to actually support a third and produce bone meal, so we're going to let this sit here for just a couple more minutes, running at 10x speed just to see. Now, I've had this thing running at 10x speed here for quite a while now, quite a while. And what have I noticed from this, aside from 10x speed causing kelp to fly everywhere like crazy? What is going on? Well, this furnace is staying full, this furnace is staying full, and this furnace here is staying full, but we have no bone meal. We have no bone meal at all. So if we check this hopper, you see it starts to bleed down, then it fills back up. So if we start to check this one, it bleeds down and starts to fill back up as more is coming in. But this one doesn't quite bleed all the way down. Now I think given time, this one will eventually get caught up and will get bone meal out of it. But for a farm this size, hello 10x game speed, you're really messing with my head. This is 4 rows here. I would honestly myself not have this. I would not put this one here. I would simply run this. Ooh, yeah, 10x speed, really dangerous. Really, really dangerous. I would simply run this size with 2 furnaces that are generating free XP, and then any overflow that the hoppers and stuff can't handle is just going to end up in here as free bone meal. Just free. That's it. I mean, it's free. It's free. And you could play around with this. Wow, let me turn this off because I can't move. Oh wow, that's much better. I can actually move around now. But depending on the size of how big you build this farm is also going to determine the number of furnaces and or smokers that you want. Now you could play around with this. What I've been doing on Truly Bedrock right now is I literally leave 1 double chest here, and literally on every one of these, because that kelp farm is obviously quite a lot larger than this. And when this fills up, this is all just going to backlog. That's going to backlog. It's not going to hurt nothing, because this is just going to sit here and be filled up with kelp that I can't place in there. I should have known that. And any overflow from the system is just going to end up over here as free bone meal. I mean, that's it. As you just saw, another one came in. And come on, can we have another one? No, we can't have one right now. But it's all dependent on how big you want to make it to determine what you want out of it. And you could break this down and do math on this. You could simply add in more chests down here, figure out how much fuel you would need in here to gain whatever amount of levels that you wanted to gain out of this thing. Now this thing hasn't been running long. I mean, it's only smelted down, what, 3, 6, almost 7 stacks here. This one's only got 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7 stacks here. So if I just simply jump down into survival, game mode S please. As you can see, I got 7 levels. Let's go ahead and remove those. And so we've got all of our levels gone now. Simply if we just lock this, we can come over here at any time we want. After the system has either filled up, we could come over here with our mending tool, whatever we want, lock that, grab that, and we get free experience out of it. Now that was only 4 levels, but as you can see, that was 4 levels just from that much kelp. I mean, same over here. We come over here, we grab this, we got 6 levels. So you could scale this up to be as big as you want. The one that I've got on Truly Bedrock right now runs 4 smokers full speed. And if I were to change that over to furnaces, it could probably have like 16, maybe 4, 8, 12, 16. Yeah, if I had to put a number on, I'd say probably about 16 furnaces. Which, if I did those via XP as well, yeah, that's just a lot of XP. A lot of XP, free bone meal out of it, and of course that thing over there is going to get massive. That thing over there is going to get massive. You've already seen how big it is. Just wait till it gets completely built. It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. Now, I know, a lot of you know how to build kelp farms, and there may be some questions about this, so if you have any questions, make sure to drop them down below. But I think that's just about where we're going to wrap up today's tutorial, so if you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Goodbye!